All right. And it appears that we are live. What up? What is already fucked up? There we go. What is up, everybody? I'm the Jay Sloan, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Halloween Kills, the newly released Halloween Kills. I believe tomorrow will actually make a week since it's been out. So let's talk about it, but let's not talk about it alone. I've got a few people here that I'm going to introduce that will be joining me. Familiar faces, everybody should know them. First, I'm going to add my good buddy, Chris Brock.
How's it going, everybody?
He's here. He's rocking the stash. He is
For good
it,
reason.
it, good reason, good stuff. So yeah, man, how have you been lately? I mean, we talk every day, so it's like, how have you been lately, man? How have you been today? We'll go that way.
Not too bad. Had a pretty good day, just kind of relaxing, working on some stuff. But yeah, been good overall. How about yourself?
I've been all right. I've been looking forward to talking about this movie. This movie's kind of soaked into my mind now. It seems like I've seen it much more than I have. I've seen it 1.5 times. Uh, I will say that I enjoy it, but we'll get kind of deeper into it here in just a second. But uh, yeah, it's good to have you here, man. Now we're going to add another buddy of
Thank you.
ours, another familiar face, and that is Jeremy Burchett from JB's Movie Den. Newly named,
Hello.
renamed, rebranded, if you will.
Yeah. Brand new coat of paint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been today, bro?
Um. Yeah. I've been pretty good, man. Kind of a slow day, a stormy day. Feels more like October than the past few days have in the area that I've been, living in. So, kind of getting more and more into the spooky mama season. The closer we get to the 31st.
Yeah, I agree, man. I was going to do it inside, and that was kind of a flop there. So I came outside because it feels good. The wind's blowing. It feels really nice. So I decided, fuck it, let's do it outside. And yeah, so we're all here, and we're going to be talking about Halloween Kills. Let's talk about Halloween Kills. And what this is basically a new segment where it's not just a review, it's not just discussion. When I talk about a movie like this live from now on, it's going to be a let's talk. So let's talk about it. Halloween Kills. Before I start with talking about it, I'm going to ask you guys. This is Halloween Kills, the night where, well, evil dies tonight, apparently. So going into this movie, what were your initial impressions? And I'll start with you, Chris. Like, did it meet your expectations without going too deep into the story, which we'll dissect a little bit? Did this movie meet your overall expectations, just out of the gate?
I wonder if he knows he's on mute. I didn't hear a single word he just said. I'm kidding.
No, it don't. Okay.
Yeah, I'm messing with you. Well, for me, 2018. All right, well, no, take it easy.
I'm just kidding.
2018 was so hopped up. People were saying it was the greatest, Halloween sequel, even better than the original. And I went into that kind of let down. And this one I had very low expectations, and I got what I wanted. That was a very fun movie, pretty brutal. Had some complaints with it, but overall, I think it's okay. It kind of met my expectations, so I was not disappointed.
Yeah. Okay. Now, same question applies to Jeremy. Jeremy, what did this film meet your expectations, or did it surpass your expectations after you're done with your wing?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm hungry.
Are you good?
We've been waiting for wings to get done for a little bit. I went into this movie with the lowest expectations I've ever had for a Halloween film. That's spicy. I watched 2 reviews, and they were both very negative. So I kind of had the mindset of, yeah, this is probably going to suck. Which, I liked 2018, so I was like, this is kind of sucks even more because I kind of liked what they did in that first film. It obviously has its problems, but
yeah,
I enjoyed it for the most part. And then I actually got to sit down and watch it with Chris, and I guess where I had just such low expectations, I was blown away with how much I enjoyed it. I've watched it twice now, and it's, definitely not top tier for me or anything, but I definitely find it to be a very enjoyable horror movie, and especially in a day and age where most horror movies in like big franchises are like hit and miss. It was
Yeah.
very surprising, and I was not disappointed for the most part. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, it has its flaws. We'll talk about that a little bit. So, Halloween Kills takes place directly after Halloween 2018, which I kind of already knew they were going to do that. We were informed that all three films were going to take place over the same night. That's changed. We'll talk about that. But so basically, Lori, Allison, and Karen are being taken away from the scene, and the house is burning, but the firefighters show up to put it out. So that's where we begin with this. And we don't begin there technically. We begin that's kind of where it starts in a way. It starts with Cameron and Hawkins, who we didn't know was alive, but he's alive. Cameron's still a douchebag, but he redeems himself a little bit later. Then we're immediately thrusted into the 78 flashback, and that's something I want to pause on for a second and talk about. So going into this, I knew there was a flashback in the movie. I'd seen images, I'd seen behind the scenes stuff like. So I knew there was a flashback. And the way they executed it, were you satisfied with that? Chris, you go first. That flashback. Just talk a little bit about that flashback.
Well, okay, I seen some pictures leaked on the internet.
Yeah.
And about the flashback before the movie came out. And I thought the mask and everything looked kind of CGI to me. Maybe it's very low quality. But I was like, oh no, this is going to be really bad. But I love the flashbacks. I love the way they executed it. It felt like it, you know how some newer movies try to, go back to a certain time period. And you can tell it's definitely not that time period. This one has the complete opposite effect for me. Like, I would have loved to have seen a whole movie, based in that time period with the flashback. It was that good, in my opinion. That classic score just kicked in. Michael looked great. Thought he was really well played. Then you got like the Loomis stuff, even though I have a little bit of a problem with that. Like, don't hate it, but it's a little half and half. I really enjoyed pretty much every part of the flashback. I think honestly it might be, if not my favorite part of the movie, definitely one of my favorite parts of the movie. Yeah, there was a lot more than what I thought we was going to get in terms of just a flashback.
Yeah, because that flashback lasted for it was over 10 minutes probably, that entire flashback, and you get to see Hawkins. You get to see, it's not Will Patton, it's actually a different character. That fucking kid threw me off, bro. Like, when we watched it, we tried to watch it the first time, that first attempt, I was like, that's the fucking dude from Project X, and that kind of weirded me out. The second time it wasn't as bad, but overall the costume designs and that, I mean, it literally looks like it's from 78. The streets, everything, I mean, it looks like 1978. We're also greeted with Lonnie, and they change around the story a little bit. He's, sorry for being a bully and all that stuff. So he encounters the Shape that night as well. I like the Hawkins stuff. There's a scene in it, they're going into the house to try to find Michael Myers. I like that you see the dead dog. That's awesome. How you see like the broken gutter that broke on Loomis in 78. That's cool. Some of the dialogue there right off the bat felt really stiff to me from some of the cops. It was like, Haddonfield, simple town where nothing happens, or whatever that line was. And Michael comes out like a fucking rabies infested dog, dude, just pushes him up against the wall. That also felt a bit fan filmish. Some of those punches did. They didn't feel. So that was the first notice that I saw of the movie. But overall, I liked the scene. I think they handled Loomis well. I don't think I would have did that second close up on his face that they do when he walks in, and then it closes. Did Michael kill again? That fucking second close up, dude. You don't. It looked perfect, and it's setting Hawkins up to have the past with Michael that we didn't really know fully about in 78. So I enjoyed it for that reason alone. I would like to see a whole movie in 78, dude, or set back in that time. That would be fucking awesome, dude. Or, however they could fix it and get around it, I think it would work. Because I've seen a lot of mixed opinions on the film itself. what I haven't seen mixed opinions on is that 78 part. Everybody's loved that. Just about every review that I've seen, they've said that's the best part of the movie, along with like the effects that we get. So Hawkins has guilt, basically, and that's where we open. The opening, and then we get the title sequence with the pumpkins. I liked everything there. So, Jeremy, I didn't get to ask you fully about the flashback, but I was trying to let you eat there. But if you want to chime in on the flashback before we kind of move on, deeper into the movie.
Yeah. I did not see any set photos or anything. I went into the flashback completely blind. I expected just a short, like 2 or 3 minute flashback with Lonnie encountering the shape. And I knew that wasn't the case as soon as it cuts to that night and you see Michael just walking down the street. I'm like, this is going to be bigger than what I expected. So
yeah,
I was absolutely blown away. The grain effect that they added, like it looks like it was actually restored for the movie. The dialogue is a little weird, but I feel like they were trying like a little too hard to make the dialogue sound like something from that first movie in a way as well. And that doesn't really bother me all that much, but the house itself, the Myers house, looked absolutely amazing. All the details were just great. I loved the flashback mask.
Yeah, it was a nice mask. It wasn't a full replica of 78 mask, which, I mean, I think Chris Nelson wanted to kind of do his own thing, his own mold, own pool, everything like that. So it looked good for what it was. But you can see one thing that bothered me a little bit, and I'm not going to complain about the whole movie because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as of now more than 2018. But the ferocity of Michael, how vicious he is throughout the duration of the movie, the kills are really good, and we'll talk about some of those. It didn't seem fully in character to how 78 Michael was in 78 right at that time. Like he was vicious, but then fucking Hawkins shoots his partner in the neck. And the only reason it's funny is just because when he shoots his partner on, accidentally, Michael's just like, "See you, bitch," just like walks, like just fucking walks.
Leaves, yeah.
He misses like 30 shots at him, dude. He's like, "Pow, pow, pow, it's Michael, stop!" And then we get the "Did Michael kill again?" kind of thing, which with the whole Loomis thing. Before we move on, I don't want to stay on it too long, but they actually, I guess that was just somebody on the crew that they thought resembled Loomis, and then all that's like practical effects over his face. That's fucking cool, dude. Like they, so we're left with this guilt with Hawkins, and then he stops Michael from actually being executed by Dr. Loomis. Which when Dr. Loomis walks out those doors, and the way he leans and the way he limps like that, that looked fucking like Loomis. I was like, oh man, that's good. Like I would have been satisfied with just that. Like honestly,
right,
without seeing his. Yeah, I would have been satisfied because I'd be like, oh fuck, because I mean it's not completely on his face, but you can tell that that's who it is. So throughout the rest of the story, we pass through the flashback, and I'm not going to dissect each and every scene because that'll take forever. Basically, it's about Michael. What we come to learn, he wants to go home, and that's something. And it's split between him trying to make his way home, and then you have this band of survivors, basically from the first film in Haddonfield, rallying up to take out the shape. So that's all that I'll say. You have Lori with her injury; she's in the hospital. You also have Allison, who wants to kind of show initiative and take down the boogeyman herself. There's so many characters in this movie. Here's one of the problems I have with it. Some of these stories don't lead anywhere is the only issue. And one thing I want to talk about next, since we basically after that, we jump right into the bar scene with the nurse and then the doctor. And we get to see all the characters from the past. So we're introduced again to Tommy, to Lonnie, to Lindsay, and to what's her name, Marion Chambers. Chambers. Yeah. So we're introduced to these characters once again. How did they in your mind, how was that executed? Those characters. Whoever wants to go.
He's eating, so I guess I'll
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
So, is there any kind of like line that we can and can't cross here? Is it spoiler?
No, it's full spoilers. I didn't put it
Okay.
in the. Yeah, I'm just going
Title.
full spoilers.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
They brought back a lot of these characters, and it's a Halloween movie. People are gonna die,
Yeah.
but oh my god, some of these characters were just chalked. I mean,
They all fucking
few-
died. Every one
yeah, a
of them.
few scenes, and then that's it. Yeah, the one that you really want to root for. I like his character probably better than most people, but I still wanted him to be more, and that was Tommy. Like
Oh, man.
he's amped up the whole entire movie, like he's gonna take down Michael. You know, he has the bat. You know, me and you, man, me and you, it's coming.
Yeah.
And oh man, the payoff to that is just there was none.
There
And
wasn't.
Marion Chambers, she I don't know, she may have been better executed in H2O. Even then, she didn't really have much to do there. I mean, it's just basically the same thing as H2O. That's what she served here, if not less. I'm not sure though. Lindsay was probably the one that was probably the best character out of that, you know, and she luckily survived. So hopefully we can see
Lindsay,
more of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lindsay and Tommy was not Tommy. Lindsay and Lonnie were the two that I liked the most out of that whole cast there.
Yeah.
That were
That's what I was about to
returning.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Lonnie a lot better than Tommy, unfortunately. And if you watch the original movie, like, I can't speak for you, but I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Team Tommy all the way. But after this movie, Lonnie, you know, he turned out to be the cooler guy. And
did.
yeah, shame, man, because I love Tommy Doyle in Halloween 6. I knew it wouldn't be the exact same approach, but I figured, you know, they could do a different twist on it, but have him involved. And he does practically nothing. No.
That's true, man. I'll be honest, when I heard the news Anthony Michael Hall was going to be Tommy, I had problems with it just right off the bat. Like, I love Anthony Michael Hall, Breakfast Club, Weird Science, all those John Hughes movies. But it was almost how I felt in It Chapter 2 when I realized, I can't think of the guy's name right now, the guy from Split.
McAvoy?
Yeah, when I realized McAvoy was going to be playing Bill, I was really, really just reserved about, because there's something about putting certain people in these roles, and I couldn't picture Anthony Michael Hall. And he had this whole tough guy exterior, like I'm gonna fuck Michael up the whole movie. And his one-liners, that's another thing I want to talk about with these characters. Their one-liners, I don't think a one-liner in this movie hits. Like, that's my only problem. Like, I didn't feel anything from any of those one-liners. When they're coming from Anthony Michael Hall, when they're coming from fucking Marion Chambers saying, you know, evil dies tonight, randomly when he's walking out, like, that don't hit, dude. You give Donald Pleasance a one-liner that's completely off the fucking wall and crazy, and he's going to nail it. Why? Because he's Donald Pleasance. I mean, we don't have him anymore, and that's sad. Rest in peace. Like, we can't get that again. You can't capture that same flame. The dialogue did not. I don't know. I don't know who talks like that, man. Like, some of the things that they said, like, was so confusing to me. And so you get them at the bar, and I wasn't a huge fan of Tommy in the movie, but I did like the two characters that you mentioned, and they have their drinks in the bar, and everybody starts to realize that, well, Michael Myers he's escaped. He killed all the firefighters, and that's one thing I want to talk about next. So that firefighter scene. Was it too much? Was it like that? Is that Michael? You know what I mean? Like, was it too much, or was it just right for you? Did you like it? I guess is what I'm asking. I'll go with Jeremy this time first, and then we'll go to.
Okay. Honestly, I felt personally like they breezed over it a lot faster than I thought they were going to.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like The Walking Dead season 5 premiere. Like, you know, Terminus is set up to be this crazy thing, and in one episode, it's destroyed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I felt about it. I wasn't upset with how they just kind of breeze through it or anything, but I was definitely expecting it to take a lot more spotlight than what it did. But I enjoyed it for what it is, just mindless gore. It is weird from Michael, but Michael's very brutal in this movie anyway. So, and I mean, he was in 2018 as well. Like he curb stomped that cash register dude in the gas station on his desk and just like dropped the teeth while she was trying to take a crap.
Yeah.
You know, like a mic drop. Like so.
Yeah.
It didn't seem out of this Michael's character to me, but it still is weird to see Michael just like go Mortal Kombat on a bunch of firefighters. But at the end of the day, I won't lie, I did enjoy watching it, and I am kind of glad that they kind of sped through it instead of lingering on it, because I think if they would have done what I expected them to do, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much.
I agree with that. I mean, I'll go to Chris next, and I'll give my opinion on it last. But Chris, firefighter scene, all them kills, good, bad, different.
Trying to think, because I have two things I want to talk about. I guess I'll just say first off, like, to me, I enjoyed that. I can see how a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's more Jason Voorhees," but Michael Myers. This is the problem that you get though. You're trying to be a sequel to the original. Well, obviously, 2018 too, but you know what I mean. They're trying to follow the more simple formula, and that's okay. But I can't really complain whenever some of my favorite films and favorite moments are like Halloween 4, whenever he takes out that entire lynch mob in the back of the truck. Halloween 6, whenever theatrical cut, when he's just like killing everybody. That whole strobe light, room. You got all those scenes. So I can't say it's completely out of the character, because in some of the later installments, he does do stuff like that.
Right.
But, this movie, I feel, showed a lot of things that we never really seen on camera. Like when Michael was stabbing that guy, he was kind of doing his art there. We didn't really see that in like the original movie. Whenever you got like the tombstone above Annie, I'm pretty sure it was Judith Myers' tombstone above Annie. Yeah. You didn't really see that. You follow those characters that just kind of stumble upon, Michael's art. And they do a lot of that in this movie. They actually show him do that. And I can see that being a problem with a lot of people, because they don't want to see, Michael setting this up or killing so many people, because they're used to him coming out of the shadows, killing people one by one. But don't forget, and later in the franchise, man, they had some scenes where he goes full on berserker mode. So
yeah, I think it was just for me. Didn't mean to cut you off, which I don't mind it either. I just think it kind of felt a little weird for Michael, just where he kind of just went from like weapon to weapon to weapon, just like pretty much killing them all with like their own thing that they kind of brought at him.
Yeah,
and I mean, that's cool. I'm glad that Michael's still as creative as he was back in 78 and 2018. I don't know. I think it's just where it was like cut so quick though too. It's just like, man, he is just like chopping them down, which they do that later on in the movie too with a group of people. It was just, I don't know. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I was just like, wow. Okay, you're sawing a dude now. Okay, you just lifted him up and just yanked the bar or whatever that it was. I forget what it's called, but like he just yanks it out, and the dude like is still like up in the air and like slowly falls. I'm like, man, this dude is strong as frig. Like
he is. And let's give it up to James Jude Courtney. I think he's a fucking good Michael Myers dude. Like,
I think he's top 5 Myers.
Yeah, I think he takes time and he puts thought into it, and he knows what he wants to do. Like, there's some people who play character like Jason Voorhees, and it's just like, fuck, it's just got a mask, I'll just do whatever. I think he actually thinks about it on a deeper level, and he's actually acting under that mask. Like when he does, the fucking couple, the old man and the older lady, who the fuck cares? Call the cops or whatever. With that, like when they're gone, that's fucking brutal. It is. But like you said, when he takes the knives and he's stabbing repeatedly, like down the guy's spine, it looks like he like fucking the way he moves to to grab the knives, like I don't, you know what I mean? Like little things like that, you can tell that he puts thought into it. It's just he's not just a mindless, dude going in there under the mask. Yeah, like so.
Yeah.
So I like James Jude Courtney, and my thoughts on that scene. I liked it. It was brutal as hell. But I liked it. I thought it was funny though when the firefighter goes under and he falls, and then the latch just raises up. He's just standing there. He's like, "Gotcha, bitch." Yeah. It's like, "Oh fuck."
Honestly, I want to bring this up too, guys, because watching 2018 and Kills back to back, where Michael was hiding, that's where Laurie was keeping like all of her guns and stuff. Like, do you think Michael, even without the firefighters, do you think he actually could have survived just hiding underneath that metal door, like that garage door? Like, do you think like he still could have escaped that trap by himself?
I mean, it's possible, dude.
Because it was just bricks and then that metal garage door.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I enjoyed that scene overall, and it was brutal, but it wasn't. It didn't kill me. I wasn't offended by it or anything. I mean, it was a little bit of what he did out of character. But I mean, like you said, later on in the franchise, he's had some brutal kills. But not only that, the other franchise films don't exist. So they could do whatever they want to do with Michael. They only have 78 to go off of. But anyway, progressing forward past that scene, the effects were fucking awesome too. So another clap for Chris Nelson there. So I like the effects in the whole movie were just really, really top notch. That's one good thing I can say about it as well. So we move forward, and we know that Laurie is now in the hospital, that her stomach wound is a little bit worse than what it was led on to believe. We also know that
it's just a paper cut.
What's his name? Hawkins is alive, barely, but he's alive. So we got that, and then we kind of go back and forth between her story, between the survivors. I'm just calling them the survivors from that night. But so all of that, man, like the film in itself, going back to that scene directly, like has some weird fucking editing. There's parts of it that just don't mix. The one part when Lonnie's having a drink watching it's like a comedy show, like the guy with the puppet or whatever, and it's Cameron who has come across Hawkins and basically saved his life, which I didn't think Cameron had it in him after throwing fucking somebody's phone and nacho cheese like a little douchebag, but basically saved his life.
I always imagined it's like tapioca pudding.
got somebody help on the way. And then Lonnie gets up in distress to leave, and Tommy gets up and it closes up on Tommy's face. It's like, Lonnie, what's wrong? And then it fucking cuts back to the cops and everybody being there with Hawkins. Then it cuts back to the bar, and Tommy's
he's just drinking, talking to.
Like, what the fuck, man? There's something in it. Like, what that was just weird. Which we're at that scene now where the nurse and the doctor goes outside, and they think they see Michael inside the car. Everybody's riled up. Michael's on the screen, two escaped mental patients, and they think that that's Michael, which is delving us deeper into this side thing that they did with the movie that I didn't absolutely love. So it's not Michael in the car. It's the other mental patient, the smaller Danny DeVito looking dude. And
I was going to say like a penguin type of guy. Yeah.
It gets Haddonfield so riled up, and I mean they've dealt with all this for 40 years, but I don't know, man. Just some of it just felt. What do you think about that side story? We'll talk about that for a second. The side story with this mental patient and getting to the hospital a little later on, and we have what happens, the mob mentality and all that bullshit. So let's talk about that for a second.
Okay. Do you want to go first on this one, Chris, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't really mind it. It could have been left out of the movie. I don't think it really would have bothered me much. But it doesn't bother me that it's in there. But I know a lot of people. Rest in peace to the guy who played that mental patient. I heard that he passed away. I think before the movie came out, which that's unfortunate. But the character, they. Try to make you feel bad for him, and you kind of do in a way, because it is wrong. It's clearly not Michael, But I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure in 2018 they said that that character strangled somebody with like a shoestring, or he did something. He did something to be in there. You know what I mean?
Sartain told the dude to fasten his shoelaces. That dude um, had a fascination for stuff like that. Would like strangle somebody with those shoelaces or something before, and that to never underestimate anybody. It's pretty
Hmm.
much along the lines of what he said.
So that guy's not innocent. But what they
No.
did, they kind of just mindlessly went along with Tommy, which is another gripe because Tommy, he literally gets everybody killed pretty much.
Well,
He
I
does.
do want to add
Legitimately.
something.
Mhm.
Karen helped a lot in that hospital of getting that man killed too.
Well, he's
Um,
going to die regardless.
yeah, but like if you think about it, Karen tells Tommy that Michael is coming to the hospital, coming for Lori,
true.
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
gets
Yeah, it does.
gets Tommy just like freaking riled up. You know, you 40 years ago you protected me, now I'm going to protect you, and then just like makes that big speech about how evil's going to die tonight and that the boogeyman um, needs to die, and it's pretty much Karen that inadvertently gets that guy killed because she just tells Tommy. I mean, she does. It's not her fault, but like she really needed to get off her high horse. Like my daughter's out vigilanting with like the survivors and this innocent guy. Blah blah blah. Like you are like the reason that Tommy got so riled up in that hospital to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Thank
also
you.
Tommy, his fault for
Just kind of jumping
Michael,
on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody, form a mob. You know what I
Lori.
mean? Like, dude,
40 years ago, you protected me. And now, like, dude, okay, dude.
it's an
Like, we don't
overreaction,
need
man.
that context, dude. Like, or did they? Okay, the whole hospital. I just was okay. The hospital stuff. We're introduced. We see Lori again. She's pretty rough shape. We see Hawkins. We also see that Charles Cyphers is there. Brackett's there. Okay, that's cool. Completely underutilized. That guy acted like he didn't know what fucking day it was on that movie, dude. So we
He's
have
old as frig though. Like,
I mean that too, but like I don't know, man. Like I just didn't like
I
him much in
was
the
I
movie.
was surprised that he's still alive. I had no idea.
Yeah, well, he was only like in his 30s when he filmed 78 Halloween. I'm pretty sure. Like he looked much older, but he was
Yeah, no
only
offense to him. I thought he was like in his late 40s.
yeah. He wasn't too old in that movie. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it went. But yeah, so
Right.
we have that hospital shit, and we see Laurie Strode in the movie for maybe 10 minutes. Maybe 10 to 15 minutes at the max. And every time she is on screen, she delivers dialogue that most of it makes my fucking skin crawl. I'll take his head as he takes mine. Like, why are you talking like that? It's the only way it ends. And I love Patton, like later on down the line, being like, it's not about you. Like, dude, you've wasted fucking 40 years. Like, it's not about you at all. He doesn't give a shit about you. You could just be a random person to him. So we got that, and she does riled. I mean, Tommy gets riled up, and when he goes to her in the hospital, and it's like, Lori, and he says what I just said a minute ago.
Yeah.
That is just completely, I don't know, man. That meeting of these two characters that have this connection and this history and this horror, which I would assume that they've been dealing with, that they know each other personally, but they don't give you any of that. You know what I mean? It feels weird. It all feels kind of thrown together, especially that part. And oh well, maybe I had lunch with you last week. I don't know if they did or they didn't, because Tommy's never mentioned. If he's mentioned at all, it's not very much in 2018. So it's
I always kind of had the feeling that Lori was a shut-in. Like, she still has those connections, but rewatching 2018, like, I don't know, man. She just seemed like a recluse.
yeah.
So maybe that's why they all kind of got together, and you have like that toast. This is for you, Lori, wherever you are. Like, that's
Well,
I
yeah.
don't know, weird situation.
Even more to my point there, if that is the case and they haven't seen each other in a long time, that's a very fucking bad introduction for them. That's like there needs to be a buildup of this moment between the two, especially with the past that they have, because it fizzled out really quick as soon as he came in the room. And she's like, "Get him, Tommy, get him!" As he's running out. I will. Evil Dies Tonight. It's like, dude, okay, bro. Like, goddamn. Like, we get it, bro. You don't have to say Evil Dies Tonight every 15 seconds. And then dude, fucking bug hit me in the face. But so the escape mental patient and the politics behind the mob mentality and everything. I don't mind if a film has a message into it. Like, it's okay.
It's kind of pretentious for a Halloween film, though. You got to kind of admit.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact of it is, like, they're chasing after this guy. Most of these people saw this guy on the TV. They saw the two mental patients. If you've got this guy and then you've got this tall dude that's literally has the same eye injury as Michael Myers has, like everything there, like, because who are you you're gonna chase after the small guy who's not even the same build or stature of Michael Myers, dude?
Yeah. I think that
there's no way they thought that was him, dude.
I think if David Gordon Green or Danny McBride was here, the way that they would try to defend that is,
what is
it was 40.
What happened?
I have no idea. What are you laughing about, Chris?
What happened?
That's what you said. It makes sense. Why would they?
Yeah, I thought about that as soon as I was watching it, because, like, dude, there's no way this guy's limping up the steps. Like, he's a little bitty guy. You would have to know that's not his stature. Like, that's not him. And Lori even says, like, that's not even. She don't even see him, and she's like, that's not him. Like, she barely sees him. She's like, no, you sheep, that's not him. It's like, dude, no, it's not. And so I mean that part there's a train going. Sorry for that, but that part I didn't absolutely love. And as you can tell, I didn't absolutely love the movie in general as a whole. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. And I'm not here just to bitch about it, because there were parts that I fucking loved. But anyway, so that part, it seems like you guys didn't care too much about the mob mentality and all that stuff. You're like me, like I really don't care about those messages too deeply.
They could have kept some of that.
So
I'm terrified for Halloween Ends.
Yeah, the guy winds up dying, jumping off the roof. He's basically.
He should have had that umbrella.
He should have been. He could have flown away. So, and all that happened to Tommy. This movie, the problem is when I'm sitting here trying to review it and trying to talk about it, I remembered everything, but a lot of things jumbled together. I feel like the movie just wasn't structured too well. And by that, I mean everything's not cohesive in terms of, like, it jumps so quickly, and the editing of it's so weird in some places that it feels like there's some stories, like you have the stuff with the survivors, like I've said. I'll jump back to that for a second. I like when the group of survivors go off, Kyle Richards as Lindsay. You've got her, you've got the doctor and the nurse in the back, and you've got what's her name, Marion. So they go off and they spot the kids at the park, and I've completely skipped over Big John, Little John. So let's talk about that first. Big John, Little John. In Michael Myers' house, Chris, Big John, Little John.
I didn't really mind it, actually. I actually kind of like the comedy in this one better than the 2018. It was okay, Big John, Little John. It cracked me up. I don't think anybody, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I just wouldn't call somebody, hey, Big John, Little John, when you're kind of in a frightened moment. But maybe people do say that. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I mean, I didn't mind them. They were okay. I know a lot of people probably didn't. A lot of people probably say, oh, it's the equivalent of Tina from Halloween 5, or even like the cops from Halloween 5. It didn't really bother me because they took Michael seriously whenever whole things happened with the trick-or-treaters. Michael fucking Myers, and they took that seriously. So, I mean, at least they wasn't, that was a little wild. But at least they didn't make a mockery of him, and they made a pretty grisly demise, so I didn't mind.
They did.
They made for good cannon fodder.
Yeah, I didn't. hate
My
him.
armpit hurt in that scene.
Oh yeah, he stabs him
Mhm.
in that fucking in his armpit, dude. What a
Yeah.
way to
Oh
go.
gosh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Whew.
it was a moment with those two. It was a moment of levity, and I mean, I guess is what they're going for. You can tell Danny McBride wrote the hell out of that scene, dude. He was the one that wrote that. That's another problem I have a little bit with some of the parts of the movie. The older couple, uh, Big John, Little John, and scenes like that specifically. I don't hate them, but I'm like, yeah, Danny McBride wrote that.
The kid that wanted to dance.
Yeah,
Um,
Danny McBride wrote that.
Ray, all of Ray's lines, Danny McBride, or improvised, or a little bit of both. Yeah.
And it's not bad comedy. I love a lot of Danny McBride's movies. He's like, I love him as an actor. I think he's funny as hell.
Mm-hmm.
But there's certain scenes he probably shouldn't be able to write. I'll just say it like that. But yeah, the Big John, Little John, and their demise is pretty cool. I like that they were living in the house. I don't know if they were trying to say anything about that, where they were, homosexual guys, or they were full gay. Well, they were homosexual, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I think it was like briefly mentioned that they were married or something. To me, I kind of felt like that was obviously something that was added to appeal to like the modern day climate, but it wasn't like they were dangling in your face like, we are so awesome that we did this, look at it. The social commentary with the hospital and that patient, on the other hand, is where they just really think like I don't know, like they have like that highbrow, like fancy, so clever. But I really liked Big John and Little John, and I don't know, like, what do you guys think about this? The more I've thought about it, like the kid who was going out hunting with his dad, talking about dancing. I couldn't care less about Ray, so don't really count him in this. But
No.
you have that kid. Yeah, Big John, Little John. You have the elderly couple. Do you think that Danny McBride is in charge of writing those characters to give them such weird personalities that when they do die, you're like, man, that's kind of sad, because they're in it for better or for worse. They are memorable, I felt so bad for Sandra, I think is her name.
Yeah.
But like when she's just like lying there and she's
watching
got
her husband.
she's just like the complete just face of defeat while she is slowly dying at unimaginably painful death. And Michael's just making a porcupine out of her husband. Like, I felt so bad in that situation. I felt bad for the kid who was pretty much thrust into such a scary situation. You have a security guard or whatever on the ground telling you to run. You can't find your dad. You accidentally shoot somebody that actually needed to be shot to begin with, but then you get into your car and you are just bludgeoned and just, was it like, I think it was like snapped his neck or something, but you're killed by Michael Myers. I feel bad for that kid. I feel bad for Big John, Little John, because they like right before Big John and Little John die, Big John's talking about like the bees and how they communicate like everything with like the movement of their butts, and Little John's like, what's in this honey anyway? And Big John's like, before my mother passed, she raised bees or something. And you have like that kind of like that sense of, I can kind of sympathize with you, like why you would know so much. You have to miss your mom so bad. And then they just are brutally murdered, and you have like this levity and then sometimes these really touching moments. And I think that's probably why McBride gets these characters, for better or for worse, is to try to make you feel as bad as you possibly could for these characters.
It's possible. I agree with the fact that the Sandra death was that was sad. Like watching her watch her husband and seeing Michael kind of create his scene. So that could be possible. It could be why McBride gets those certain scenes specifically. Hope Goff said, "Hey, can you see?" Okay, said a lot of people had never seen Michael in real life. Well, in Haddonfield, though, I'm not saying you're wrong, but they had just posted on the news about him, and you've got two people that are, two mental patients who have escaped.
Mm-hmm.
With the small guy who can't walk, and then the bigger dude, the abnormally bigger dude than this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna say that it's probably, my bets are it's the bigger guy, not this small guy that can't walk or move. That's just, and not only knowing his injuries, but knowing this is Haddonfield. They know this story. They've been haunted by Michael Myers. So I think that's why it didn't make sense to me. Like, these people, are clueless. Like I said, you sheep. Like, it all just felt. It honestly felt a little forced. That part did. They could take that out, and it wouldn't even. I mean, it wouldn't really matter. I guess they just wanted to show. They wanted to show something, which we won't dwell on that anymore. But
yeah, I pretty much feel like the title of the name was based off of that hospital scene, Halloween Kills.
Yeah, it was. I think going into that, it was. People kind of knew. That's why I wasn't too mad. I'll be honest. My expectations going in were like none. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. So I even enjoyed the kills, which we talked a little bit about the Saunders death, her and her husband, so we won't go back over that. But that was fucking brutal. Breaks. I actually like that because, he's flying the little helicopter thing or whatever
little drone.
Little drone into it. But you can hear like a lid pop off. You can hear, because Michael's trying to bandage his shit up. His fucking hand's messed up. And he fucking throws it back out at him, dude. I love that. It's like fucking starts breaking shit like a pissed off teenager. And then puts his hand through, grabs him by the head, and starts beating his head again. Like, that was cool. It's brutal, but it's cool.
Sandra, there's a big guy in a monster mask in our bathroom.
Yeah.
Call the cops.
Who gives a fuck? Call the cops. You're right. You're right. Hope y'all. Not everyone watches the news or remembers. People are upset they just react. I guess that's what they were trying to show, but
I kind of have a feeling that, well, when I think back to it, like the prominent faces that I can kind of remember from those lynch mob scenes is people like in their mid 30s, early 40s, people that would have grown up around the time that Michael, committed the babysitter murders, or kind of grew up shortly after. But like nobody else really seems to care. Like the teenagers and stuff, like if their families wasn't involved in a personal way with a encounter by Michael Myers or what have you, they don't really know. And I kind of feel like the same thing for them to probably save their own skins with this. Danny McBride and David Gordon Green would say is that it's like that. It's the urban legend, but probably nobody followed Michael after he was incarcerated.
Yeah.
So like everybody remembers the boogeyman, but everybody forgot what he looked like. And I can see that, but also you see like those two pictures in the bar, like you said, and granted, people usually aren't watching the news when they're in a bar. They're trying to get laid or get drunk or just play a game of pool with their buddies. But still, like news notifications and everything were going off. You would assume if like the news notification showed you like the two photos, like, oh yeah, okay, that's going to be Michael. This little dude's creepy, but I don't know.
This guy just stepped out of a Tim Burton film. He's fucking Penguin, dog. That's what I would think. Yeah. Rest his soul.
If only, Lori, Allison, somebody that survived the events of Halloween 2018 was watching the news at that point. All that could have been avoided, unfortunately.
So I had to digress a little while ago because I wanted to mention Big John, Little John. I didn't want to, because it wasn't terrible. I didn't hate it. They were funny. I laughed when I saw it, and their kills are brutal. Actually, their kills too. When you see what Michael does, how he sets them up, which they later find in the
Mhm.
Myers house when they go, is like the picture that they have. Like he sets them up
Yeah,
like the picture that they have
just
in their home.
reverse. Yeah.
So it just shows another part of like Michael's, like he just likes, it's like art to him, I guess. He's just trying to lay something out to scare somebody because Halloween. He wants people to be scared. Everyone's
Mhm.
entitled to one good scare, says Brackett with a fucking
Yeah. I
stale
have
fucking.
I do have another theory that we can get into later about that whole thing, like with Michael posing his victims and all that.
Mhm. So we go from that to the scene with some of the survivors, which I wanted to talk a little bit about because I thought it was a cool scene overall. There was some cheesy parts in it, but I liked Kyle Richards in it a lot. And that's the scene with them on the road, and they stop and they see the kids who were swinging, with the callback to fucking Halloween 3, where they have the Shamrock masks and stuff. And then that's like, there's a creepy guy in a white mask over there playing hide and seek or whatever they say. And it's like, hey, and I love that. And it fucking cuts, and he's holding the skull mask and dripping blood. And it's like, oh,
dripping
shit.
blood.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I like that. And then you see, like, Kylie Richards did a good job, man. Her acting was believable in this. Like, I liked her. And I'm glad that she survived with their big and little knives and then poses them like the pig. Yeah, with their big. Yeah. He
I got
does.
this knife.
I think.
I got this
I got
knife.
this knife.
I think Michael has a good sense of humor, honestly.
I think he does too.
But
Because I mean, like the song that he plays, like when like Allison's getting ready to like find the bodies or whatever, like the dude has a sick sense of humor. If only he wasn't a homicidal maniac, he could probably get along with that guy.
it's true. So you see the shape start to come towards the car, and the kids tells him to run home. Now, this is a scene where I liked it. I was divisive on some of the dialogue when he's on top of the car and shit. And she does like one of the smartest moves in the entire movie that anybody makes. She takes that candy bag and starts filling that shit up with like bricks or whatever she's filling it up with. Like, that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when he gets on top of the car and you have the couple in the back and they're freaking the fuck out and they got the big gun or whatever. And when he finally gets down to actually kill Marion, and she's like, "This is for Dr. Loomis," and like fucking pulls the trigger and it clicks, dude. It's out of ammo. I was like, oh my God. They should have at least let her have one shot. You know what I mean? Into it. Like that Dr. Loomis.
I don't think one more gunshot would have done much of a difference.
No. But that Dr. Loomis line, I don't know, man. Maybe it's the delivery. Maybe I would have liked it if it would have been more heartfelt. I don't know. But he fucks her up with the knife, kills her brutally. And then what transpires after that with the dude fucking strangling him, tries to strangle him. He fucks that guy too. What's he stabbed the knife like through his eye or whatever?
Yeah, like right here, I think.
So he destroys that guy, and then his wife gets out of the car acting like a badass, and she kills herself practically. She walks up to the door. Michael.
John Wick style.
Boom, bitch.
That was a little cheesy. That one was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. It was so they're all dead basically. Everybody that we've been introduced to, they're all dead. Which it's Halloween Kills, but there could have been some room there for some shit with Marion. Like if she would have actually put her heart into it a little more, I would have liked to seen her talk about Loomis. Maybe have a scene where she's fucking talking about what Loomis did after. Then then she's killed. I don't know the way she, whatever with that part. But like,
I would have liked to have seen her actually talk about Hopkins like stopping Loomis from killing Michael that night and what she thought about it and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Because Sartain already mentioned it to Lori. Like we could have had a flashback with like her talking about it instead of Hopkins like telling Lori again that he stopped it from happening that night.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, man. But talking about things that we want to see, I'll get to in a second. I'm going to ask your opinion on that scene, Chris. But like Kyle Richards gives it her all in that scene, and I think she does, and she's the only one who escapes the shape in that moment. To be with Tommy finds her later, which is weird. She's like you said, there has to be a scene in between that because like she's beat to shit and dirty or muddy, so there had to be a scene that we didn't get to see. But Chris, your opinion on that scene and the kills within that scene?
I pretty much liked them all besides the very last one. I didn't hate the last kill, with the woman shooting the gun, and been cool to see something a little less cartoonish. But I mean, we've seen so much from the franchise, you know what I mean? I can't really complain. There's been some really over the top kills, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. I love, like you mentioned, the kids. That's an accurate representation. You know what I mean? How kids would be today, which I'm sure that's how we'd be, whenever we was younger. But yeah, seeing him with that skull mask and just dripping blood, I thought it was very well executed. That whole entire scene, Michael just slaughtered everybody. So I enjoyed it. But one thing I wanted to add real quick, you guys were talking about Marion. I think whenever they were on their way, like they were driving, she did mention something about Loomis, how he knew a killer when he seen one. So there's a cool little line there. Yeah. I wish that there was more of that implemented in the film.
I would have liked for that to have been stretched out a bit.
Yeah, that line probably would have meant more and felt more, when she was like, this is for Dr. Loomis,
Yeah, especially if she would have been the one that talked about that and it flashed back with her and like, I'm going to redeem him now.
There was a lot about this movie that felt like it needed to be stretched. This movie needed to be half an hour longer with everything that they did, all the side plots and everything like it. The movie couldn't breathe, quite frankly. Like, it was adrenaline from start to finish, and that's fine. That's what they're going for. But I didn't know which way was up or down in this movie sometimes. Like, what the fuck they were doing with it and what they were trying to do. And talking about that, Kylie Richards, however you want to say her name, she survives, which is cool. I'm glad she's literally the only fucking person that survives when the movie's over, out of the original group of people minus Laurie. And Hawkins, I suppose, now. But going back to the hospital, this is where we'll talk about the hospital a little bit. Won't dwell on it too long, but things going on at the hospital. We see the fling start to appear. This is after, I think it's after the mob mentality stuff with the stuff between Hawkins and Jamie. Or is it prior to that? Can't remember. Hawkins and Laurie.
I think it was before because she was in her nightgown. I think like the hospital gown. Okay. Like after this talking, and she's like, hey, we killed Michael. It's about time.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Had to be because
she got into like her street clothes, like with the hospital chase scene.
Yeah, it's true. Like I like that stuff, and I like that her and Hawkins kind of have a past. But I also like that Hawkins sets her in her place, and he's like, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not about you. Like, it's never been about you. And at that point, I wish she would have. Yeah, I wish she would have thought, like, for a second, man, my whole life has been. I wish she would have had more look on her face, like, really, like, it's not about me. Like, having this emotion, like, I've literally, I ruined my daughter's life for years. She got taken away from me. I've dwelled on this one thing for my entire life, and it's not even about me, not even directly toward me. So I liked some of the hospital stuff, but her one-liners just did not hit for me. And then leading to the next character there, Karen, which I think she did way better in this movie than 2018. I liked her a lot more in this. I liked it. I just like how she was in the movie. And we'll get.
She was no longer trying to rebel against her mother in this movie too, which I think was a big
and
thing.
Peanut butter on my penis is dead. So
yeah, bye Ray. I actually want to see.
Good job, Judy Greer.
I want to see like when Michael brought Ray into Laurie's house, because he's just like folded up in a closet with the wind chime still around his neck or whatever. Like so did he like immediately like unlock the door, find out okay they're downstairs, time for some house flipping?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't know, man. It's I don't know, man. I'm so glad Ray's dead, honestly. I couldn't handle that dude in 2018.
I liked Lonnie talking about him though. I was like, okay, that makes Ray cool. seem like instead like oh, I bought peyote from your dad. He's like, yeah, I used to buy peyote from your dad. Talking to Allison,
I like that.
Which way is it?
He got scared of his reflection or whatever and jumped in, took all his clothes off, and jumped in.
Took off his pants and jumped in the water. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like Ray.
but you know, with what we've come to know about Lonnie and how we know that character is, that made sense for those lines to be coming from him. There's some parts where it just don't make sense, and he's the only one out of the fucking crew that don't give us an evil dies tonight one-liner fucking in your face bullshit. Like, you can't do one-liners like that every fucking second, dude.
He was terrified. He actually gave a better reaction than most of them.
He
Like, he was
did.
terrified whenever, you know, Marion, the other people were killed, whenever they found them. Tommy's just like, it's going down. I know he's trying to be all big and bad, but
yeah, Tommy was just on an adrenaline high that he had no right being on.
Yep.
And swing over here.
Nothing.
Dude, like,
nothing.
Take the bat off your shoulder.
Take the bat off your shoulder. Fuck you. Yeah, I agree with that, man. And I liked, like I said, I think Judy Greer did a good job. Another person I want to talk about. There's so many people to just die. It's hard because there's so many people to talk about. Annie Matichak as Allison. I liked her a lot in the movie. I think she was given more in this movie. Obviously, it's, you know, moving on. I didn't mind her little one-liner she had at the car when she's getting in to kind of band up with Lonnie and Cameron and all them, when she's like, you know, he's plagued this town or whatever for 40 years. It ends tonight or whatever. That wasn't too bad. But so we have her side story with her, Cameron, Lonnie, and they're heading towards the Myers house, which Laurie has no clue, and I don't think even at that point Karen has a clue. But she starts to kind of figure it out, and then we have all that go down. And I guess if I'm not skipping over anything, because basically, I mean, at the hospital is Laurie's one-liners, and talking about how Michael transcends, which I don't know how I feel about that. Every time he kills, he transcends. I don't know if she meant that, like, metaphorically, if he physically transcends, like, is he becoming more and more supernatural with each kill? And I don't know how I feel about that either.
Well, I mean,
how do you feel?
No, go ahead.
No, how do you guys feel about that? With each kill, he transcends. How do you feel about that? They're completely breaking the supernatural barrier in this movie. By the end of it, for sure, this dude's full on fucking. He's not human. There's no way. So, how do you feel about that?
He wasn't really human in '78, if you really think about it.
It's true, but it's not really.
He took
told,
he took 6 bullets to the freaking chest, fell off a second-story balcony, and just got up and walked away.
Yeah.
And he killed 5 people. If you count the tow truck driver or whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Anyway, like if you kill, you know, obviously that's enough to make him a serial murderer, especially counting Judith and everything. You only need 3. That's still a very low kill count compared to 2018, and especially compared to Halloween Kills. If that's true and he transcends a little bit every time that he kills, like, this dude is going to rule the earth by the time Halloween ends. Like if 6 people, counting Judith, up until the point of when he gets like if killing 6 people can make him just take all that damage, get stabbed in the eye, get stabbed in the neck, get shot off a balcony, and just get up and walk away. Dude, he killed over 50 people if you put 2018 and Kills together, most likely. He is
true.
He's a train that has no idea of what brakes are at this point.
No, I would say you're right on that. Chris, how you feel about that? With each kill, or the more he kills, the more he transcends, kind of thing.
I don't know. It's weird because they clearly have stated that he's not supernatural, but that kind of goes against everything, which maybe we'll figure out the entire full, detail about that in Halloween Ends. But it don't bother me because in '78 he does take the gunshots at the end, and that's when you realize okay, he's not really human, or there's something different about this. He's supernatural-ish. So that's one aspect that I've kind of grown fonder to. in the sequels that he's supernatural. He's, he doesn't. He takes abuse, but I guess that makes sense there. For me, he takes like abuse in the sequels and everything, and he just keeps getting back up. And the sequels, they explain it with the Curse of Thorn and stuff like that. Maybe with this, maybe they just don't even explain it. You know what I mean? Just have Laurie's reasoning and leave it at that, because we knew, like even from the ending of the first movie, that something's different with Michael. He's not your average serial killer. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind it. I've always thought he's had super human strength and ability to take so much damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't mind it either, as long as he's not transcending to be like the fucking Hulk or anything like that.
Yeah, that'd be a little
like
weird.
Super Saiyan Michael.
Like I don't mind it. I really don't. And pull that up one more time. Yeah, it does make sense. I can see what you're saying there and where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. Makes total sense. Hope Golf.
But also, I feel like Michael feels pain enough to kind of acknowledge it with like grunts and stuff, like when Allison sliced his hand, when he's trying to pull Karen back down into the cellar, and she like slices him, he's like, a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't think pain affects him like any other human, but I think he still feels it a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just not as much, or like it. Do you think pain might strengthen Michael?
Could be. I don't know. It could be. I think definitely feels it. You're right about that. And let's see. It would only let me type so much, so I had to dwindle it down. No, I think you're right. I agree with what you're saying there. I'm okay with him transcending as long as it's not to that crazy extent.
Yeah. I don't care for him to be supernatural, but just give us something that we haven't had already. Don't make it a cult or anything, because you erased it all. Don't cherry pick it back into your own canon. So
and so we progress with Lonnie, Allison, and Cameron moving on to the Myers house, because Lonnie has a map and says that he tracks it back to he's trying to get home. He's the one who gives us that information that Michael wants to go home. He's going all back. He's going home. So basically, that's all he wants to do, and nobody will let him do it, which is bullshit. That's rude to people. He just needs to go home. Look out the window where he was looking in Judith's room, which was a cool part that I didn't mention in the beginning of the film, when the guy says, he actually knew Michael. His mom would make him go over there and whatever. He would just stare out that window and wonder what he was looking at. And that's kind of a big part of this story, of this timeline, is like that in general, and what drives him, which nobody really knows at this point. He's just evil, which I think is how it should be anyway, without the brother-sister angle. So they're going to the house, and Lonnie's, I like how he's like, I've never actually been inside. He says that earlier in the movie with Tommy. Yeah. And he goes in, he's like, you got to stay in the car. I'm taking my son to the belly of the beast, and I like that thumbs up, and he goes in. So what transpires over the next little bit is a cool ass fucking scene. I love when they go inside. There is a lot of tension there. They see Big John, Little John, and everything that happens there. What I don't like is, I don't know, man, they split up a little too fast for me. I'd be like hip to hip with somebody, but I guess
that's like Big John and Little John too. Like, anybody in that Myers house should not split up.
Yeah, the only problem with that, like, I felt more comfortable with them splitting up because they didn't know who that was. You know what I mean? Like, these guys know Michael's here. They know that. Like, he's here for 100%. So we have that whole scene play out, and we have fucking Cameron see that Lonnie's basically been killed off screen. And what happens after that, dude, is fucking brutal, man. I like what Michael does to Cameron, dude. I like that shit. He fucks him up. So you guys want to talk about that a little bit, like him fucking Cameron up?
Yeah. I also just kind of want to talk about how stupid that decision was on Allison's behalf, and Cameron's too, but also like, Karen tells Allison, baby, listen, we set a trap and it failed. Yeah. Like, what do you think you're going? Like, you think you're actually going to be able to stop him? and like they split up. That's I guess a teenager not listening to her parent, but that is dumb as frig. But
Oh, it's very dumb.
yeah, but Cameron rocks the skirt until he died.
Dude, he fucks him up. He puts after he's, and she's like, no, and everything. Like, puts his head through the fucking through like the stairs, dude. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, he was dead 5 minutes ago, man. Yeah, he's barely hanging on. He's clinging on to life like by that much.
Michael just like takes it aside,
Like
like
a butt
and I
hair.
like.
That's all he
I
had
like
left.
it. He fucks him up so bad, and then we get to see. I didn't like her decision, Allison's decision when she goes in and sees Big John, Little John dead, and then she walks over to them anyway, and like she basically does she lay her gun down? I can't remember if she lays her weapon down when she walks over there, or does she walk over with it?
I don't remember. All I remember is that she pulled out the kitchen knife.
Mm-hmm. And then we see, I mean, that whole scene. I mean, it was not a bad scene.
Did Michael knock the gun out of her hand?
She tried to shoot Michael. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then she stabbed him 3 times in the gut.
Stabbed him. Yeah.
And
then he threw her down the stairs. That's why they tossed her ass down the stairs and then fucked Cameron.
She's like the only character that Michael doesn't seem to like be in a hurry to kill, because he was chilling in the back seat of the cop car with her. He just like bumps her head and throws her down the stairs. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what it is. Like, he just he's most chill with her than with everybody in that town.
We'll talk about predictions for ends here in a little bit, but it could lead to some cool stuff. But I like that. I like how she's not fucking giving in to Michael too. When he goes downstairs and she's like, do it or whatever. I'm like, oh shit, man. Like, I think he actually likes that. He's like, huh, like, okay, like you're not cowering in fear.
He was toying with her. Like, he could have easily killed her, but like he was like, you got a little fight in you. I like that.
I liked it. Rewind a little bit earlier, and Tommy's feeling so hurt that this guy jumped off the roof and killed himself. And he's like, I got a car. Because she's like, I got to get to the house, whatever. I got a car. Okay, cool. We'll cut back. And she, like I said, her boyfriend's just been brutally murdered in front of her, which was, I think, probably one of the best kills in the movie.
Did Michael stab his throat down into like splintered wood?
Yeah, I think he did.
I think so, yeah. So look like me.
Dude. Cameron.
So, yeah, Cameron. Dude, he was like, she's like, no. And his Michael's just like, okay.
Don't tell me what to do.
He's like, she shouldn't have said anything. She should have just not said anything. He wouldn't have fucked her up so bad, I don't think. But, like, he knew that it was hurting her. So that happens, and then the whole Judy Greer scene, when she pops back up. And I like that, too. She pops up with the mask. And she takes his mask. I was thinking of something else.
Yeah, she stabs him with a pitchfork and like kicks him in the head, and then takes off the mask. Yeah, takes
off the mask. Then she's holding it in front of him. So she's like, you feel it. She does basically like the same thing that Sartain did in a way, which like you feel it, can't you? I don't like how she explains to him what he did 40 years ago, though. It's like, you killed your sister up there in that room. He's like, I fucking remember. So like I know I did that shit. I'm proud. I'm
trying to go back to that room. Thank you very much.
What the fuck? You guys won't let me to the room. So like, it's like, you killed your sister 40 years ago in that room, and all this different stuff. You can feel it. I don't like the fact that this mask is like some sort of entity, and I know we talked about it a little bit. That was one of my biggest issues with the opening of Halloween 2018. This mask is everything to us, but in 78, it's nothing to Michael. And it become in 2018, if they would explain it a little bit better, and what I've said over the years, I feel like it should have been the clown mask that the reporters, or the whatever they're called, in 2018 that they pulled out. They should have pulled that clown mask out, because it would have more effect than that mask, because Judith's death started it all.
That reigns true even more so with this movie. Yeah. That's where he's trying to get back to.
That was a missed opportunity there.
I kind of talked about it a little bit with you guys, but I'll kind of give the short and sweet theory that I have. I feel like Michael imprints himself on a mask. First it was his clown mask. Like, he had to put that on to kill Judith. And he finds a mask that he really likes in a hardware store. He steals that, and that's when he truly goes on his murder spree, because he only killed like the tow truck driver or whatever, just to kind of get like different clothes. And then he gets his mask and he completely has fun, like his face is hidden. I feel like Michael likes to hide still behind masks in this continuity, but I feel like it gives him some type of power, because even like when that dude pulls out the mask, he's like, you can feel it, can't you? Like Michael, like even with his bad eye, like he twitches. He's like, I feel that mask. I'm still connected to that thing, which is weird. I want to know more of that supernatural connection, especially where this is like a different supernatural Michael Myers. Why masks are so important to him, but I feel like that's a big part of his power, because like when Laurie takes off the mask, like he's stunned. He has to put it back on real quick before he can do anything else. Karen takes that mask, he has to go get it. And like a scene later, like he has to put that mask back on before he can do anything. But we'll get to that at the end. But I feel like they're setting up just the mask makes Michael the boogeyman, instead of Michael being the boogeyman himself. But that's kind of my theory on it.
Okay, well, I hate to interrupt real quick, but I'm gonna have to. My iPad is on 6%. I'm gonna take this inside. I'm gonna mute myself and let you guys talk for just a second so we can end this. I don't want this to die. So
okay.
I'll be right back, guys.
What do you think about that, Chris? I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but do you think that's the route that they are probably going to take?
They might, even though it's one that I'd be a little mixed on, depending on the execution. At least it'd be something different. You know what I mean? And that's the whole reason to go back and do different timelines. And you know what I mean? Because you don't want to remake the same movie. Because why would you even go back? Hey, all these don't exist.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd be okay with it, as long as they execute it good and put thought into it, not just like a rushed idea. So
yeah. I mean, it's weird, man, because like even in the original Halloween, like when Laurie takes off that mask, he's like kind of shocked, like, "What the frig did you just do?" He
That's
just
true,
has like that look on his face.
That's how Lindsay escaped. Took the mask. Was like fiddling with it.
So she got like halfway off, like covered his eyes. Jordan's not here, but there is something I kind of want to talk about as well, like with what I think about this Michael. I think Jordan is still here, but I think that Michael, I forget like the medical term for it or whatever that psychiatrists and stuff have given it, but like that need to see fear in your victim before killing them, like the Night Stalker, was it Richard Ramirez or whatever, he had that, like he had to scare the people before he killed them in most cases. And I feel the same way with Michael, not only in the original but in 2018. Like instead of just like killing the reporter while she was trying to use the bathroom, like he drops teeth in on her and then starts rattling the door. Like he could have easily just broke it in. That Michael, with that strength, he was just playing with her. He wanted to hear the screams. And I think with Allison, with her not being terrified of him, like do it, go ahead, kill me, whatever, and like screaming, demanding him to stop and stuff. I think Michael's like, holy crap, I like you. You're kind of cool,
Not like everybody else.
Yeah, because everybody else is so terrified of him, and she's just like, you killed my dad. You've made my life hell. I hate you. I'm not going to show you any type of fear.
That's what he wants, Wants to see that before he kills his victims. Somebody commented, we need a new Friday 13th. That'd be really cool. I'd love to see a new Friday 13th.
I would too.
That'd be really cool.
I'd love to see a new Nightmare on Elm Street as well. Yeah, dude, Jared Padalecki is the best part of. Well, I think he's just like a really good part of that movie. Regardless, he has like one of those faces that he's just likable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like him. I think he did a good job in that movie, personally. Can you see the comments, Jeremy?
No, I can't. I cannot, sadly. Oh, now I
Okay.
can. Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
do that?
I'd absolutely love a new Friday the 13th though. That'd be so nice. As long as they don't try to like flip it on its head or something, just give us a camp summer slasher with great effects, good kills, and dumb teenagers. Yeah,
That's all
that's
you
what
need for Friday
that's
13th.
yeah, that's what I want. That's all I
Love
need.
to.
I'm not picky.
Let's see. Well, I guess they do have Tommy Jarvis back in like these fan films that are being made, but it'd be cool to see Tommy Jarvis back or just somebody.
Hmm.
Cool.
I saw that
I
a few
like,
of like those fan films are kind of getting like Blu-ray releases, like Never Hike in
Mhm.
the Snow or what, like those type of
Mhm.
films. I haven't watched those yet, but I really am kind of intrigued. The art on those physical releases looked sick.
I've heard they're pretty good. I think I watched Never Hike Alone. I've not
Mhm.
watched the the one in the snow, so that'd be very cool. We've always talked about that, about
Mhm.
Jason in the snow, how beautiful that could be. Like it sounds weird, but like feeling somebody in the blood on the snow would make good contrast.
Mhm. And it makes more sense than seeing Michael Myers in
Mhm.
the snow, like Christmas setting, or Freddy, because Freddy's just always in your dream. Like I think with like out of the big three, it would make the most sense with Jason to have a snow setting
Mhm.
because Jason is, he's notorious for Friday the 13th, but more so just in title alone. I think Jason's just kind of like if I find you, I'll kill you. Don't matter.
Mhm.
So type of guy.
Been to New York, or Manhattan, in space. He's been everywhere. Yeah, that comment right there. Yeah, that was a clown mask that he was wearing. So, yeah, it's kind of how I feel about that too. I don't know if I'd want it to be the mask.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I
It's intriguing. See what they'll do with it.
Judith has to be a big part of it, at least in kills, or not kills, ends,
Mhm.
because like look at the shrine from the original Halloween. Like
Mhm.
there's something so special about Judith's death or whatever with Michael that if they completely ignore it, I'm going to be very disappointed and honestly pretty upset because Sartain is like, what was the word that he said? Just one word. Was it the sister? Was it Judith?
Mhm.
And talking about Judith is mentioned in both films. Like you can't have like that shrine and then have her be mentioned and like shown in the flashback and stuff without something to do with her, like the reason why Michael is so fascinated with his sister's death.
Mhm.
There has to be a payoff for that.
Yeah, I think it will definitely come full circle. Halloween ends, hopefully. We'll see about it.
Okay, I'm back. Hopefully, I don't lag out and the stream doesn't end. But my room has not really had the greatest history of letting me do anything up here. But some of the comments from Need a New Friday 13th, I agree. Going to be a while, though. Legal trouble's still going on.
Mhm.
It'll
really
happen
hope
That's the thing
tomorrow.
about that.
I really hope it's a security blanket, like a child's binky. I really wouldn't like if the mask itself has power. When he killed his sister 40 years ago, he had a clown mask out. Yeah, I get what you were saying, Jeremy, and I think that could be what they're going for. I just don't like that particularly. I don't like that mask has power or any power
Yeah.
over Michael. I think
Yeah.
it wasn't the mask itself that made Michael kill.
Mhm.
So, if anything, they should just brought the clown mask back, but they couldn't do that. That wasn't going to be an option. But I don't know. I've missed some chat or conversation here because Hope said that's a good point. Jeremy, didn't she say she had to die herself in order for Michael to die? Yeah, she said, "Take my head, I'll take his head," or whatever she says. That
Yeah.
line with, it's the only way, which it ain't because he doesn't care about her. But anyway, I digress from that.
He's probably a
So-
little peeved at her now that she tried to set an entire house and him on fire. But
yeah.
I don't think he's gonna like go out of his way to like find her or anything.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think if anything, we'll talk about this before we end it. We'll try to wrap it up in the next little bit so it's not a super, super long stream. But if anything, he's more fixated on Allison than Lori at this point. So,
Mhm.
you know.
Was you there like when I kind of gave my thought about why that might be so? Like, did you
I'm
hear what
not
I was
sure.
saying?
I didn't hear anything after I left because.
Okay, I was talking about Richard Ramirez and how he had like that need to see fear in his victims. I feel like Michael has that need to see fear in his victims too, and Allison is the only one that in this movie is like demanding him to stop what he's doing
Mhm.
and like come after me, like cussing him out, and then like do it, kill me, whatever. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that intrigues Michael because he's not getting what he wants from
I think you're right.
Allison.
I think you're right, and that leads to that we discussed the mask a little bit. When Judy Greer or Karen takes the mask and Michael's following her, I knew it was lead to a trap. I didn't know exactly like what the trap was going to consist of, but I knew there was going to be a trap there. So when he
All I
walks
heard-
into it, what is it?
I was just gonna say all I heard was
Oh Jesus!
pants yet.
Well, he walks into it and they're fucking all their brights are on, like they're all surrounding
Mhm.
Michael for this
Yeah.
trap, and I was like, Michael's about to get fucked up just for a second,
Mhm.
and he deserves it. But the lines that transpired there, some of them are good, some of them not so great. But they do.
I like
they mess
the
Michael up pretty
gotcha
bad.
again.
Yeah, I like gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that in the first one.
Mhm.
They do mess him up pretty badly, dude. And I knew they were going to kill him. There's another sequel coming out, but
Oh yeah.
then you got brackets. Man, earlier in the film at the hospital when he's like, he killed my daughter 40 years ago and desecrated her body. I was like, man, dude, that's really hurting you. That cuts like a knife, don't it? That he fucking played with their body and killed her. Like, I don't want to keep harking on him, dude, but he bothered me a little bit in the movie. But anyway, so they beat the fuck out of Michael. Judy Greer starts to take a little stroll back. She gets back with Allison after all that's going on. This leads to the ending with what happens. You guys want to talk about what happens?
Yeah.
Go first.
Like the big thing that happens at the end.
Yeah,
or just-
we'll go with it. Well, like the mob versus Michael, Tommy and his gang versus
Right.
Michael. What happens that we think Michael's done and over with? You've got Brackett going up to end it, and then what happens after that?
Kind of talking about like the security blanket and everything, or just like how the mask is like some type of entity that empowers Michael.
Yep.
He has to put that mask back on before the fight starts.
Yeah, I did like that too, but that he put it back on.
What, bro?
I like that he put the mask back on.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been weird to just have like Michael maskless in that scene. But once again, it just seems like that's where he gets that power, which is really odd. But anyway, that was a crazy scene. When they're just like getting the upper hand on Michael for a little bit. I was like, well, you kind of deserve every lick that you get right now. I mean, you've not been the very, you haven't been the nicest person in Haddonfield. And that scene when he just like takes the knife out of his back or whatever and just goes on the rampage, I'm like, holy crap. It's like nothing can keep you down. Like, you're not even going to have a limp or anything. Like, what are you? And I mean, I kind of get that in the original Halloween and everything, like I said before, but like after that, just getting up like it was nothing. Like, what on this earth are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Genetically modified freak.
Mm-hmm. He was.
Freak. Yeah, he I don't know, man. I enjoyed that scene. I liked seeing Tommy Doyle get killed because he was killing me through the most part of the movie. So he
Doyle
kills Tommy.
kills.
The cuts and the editing in that scene was weird. There's a lot of slow mo going on, dude. And I mean, I guess they were wanting to try to prove a point with it, or they had stylistically a thing they were going for, obviously. And that's another thing with David Gordon Green. I think he can film him. I think he's a good director. The movie looks great from like start to finish. The visuals, the cinematography, everything looks great. I feel like the story's just a tad bit jumbled, but anyway. So
but is that left up to editing? Like, is that editing's fault?
It could have been editing. It's bad editing. Could have been the issue, honestly. But so throughout this, we pretty much hear. This is when Laurie's dialogue is she's starting to come into play with her dialogue about Michael, and there's cops at the Myers house. Allison's alive. Karen's alive. Michael has literally just slaughtered everybody in this mob in brutal ways.
Dust his hands.
Karen wants to know what was he looking at outside that window when he would go in that room. So Karen takes a stroll upstairs. We still have Jamie Lee Curtis's voice kind of dubbed in there, and Michael appears behind her, and there's a homage to Psycho where he slashes and kills her, and we see Laurie, and we kind of get that we know what's going to happen. So it ends with that on a cliffhanger, with him killing Karen. Now, was it real? Was it a dream? What was it? We don't know. From the original test screenings and the original ending, I know what it's supposed to be, but I don't know if they'll keep it that way. Anyway, the ending. What did you guys feel about that ending? The whole mob scene, that, those guys dying. We basically lost every one of the OGs with Tommy dying. Tommy and Brackett dying. We have Laurie remaining, and we have Lindsay. So what did you think about that, Chris? Yeah, Jeremy spoke on it a little bit. That final scene, then leading up to the cliffhanger.
It was cool to see Michael, slaughter people and stuff like that. The way it was filmed, it was a little weird, but I kind of get what they was going with, having Laurie talk and say her stuff over top of it. He took a hell of a beating and just slaughters everybody, and it bothers me that Tommy amped himself up the whole entire movie, and it was almost like he was going to be a major player, and he hit Michael like twice during the beatdown scene and gets absolutely destroyed. By Michael.
Tommy Doyle tried to play Tommy Jarvis, and it just didn't work out.
Oh, Huckleberry fucking
used it on him. You could see him; his eyes are real wide, and then bam! Like, it just, man. He did a lot to get other people killed. I know it wasn't his intention, but if you're going to do all that, you at least got to put up some kind of fight or effort against Michael, and he just didn't. He got absolutely clapped.
He buckled.
He did.
He saw everybody else die, and he buckled under fear.
Yep. The exact same thing that he said that they wasn't going to do. It wasn't going to succumb to fear.
Yeah, at the bar.
I think Michael.
I think Michael was lucky that he got away in enough time. That woman with the iron was going to fuck him up. He ran from her. She's the only survivor in my canon, at least.
Yeah.
But the main end with Laurie's daughter, Karen. I was a little confused by that because of how that transpired. Michael killing everybody, and then she sees young Michael and goes in there, and it's like he's just like right behind her like that. And at first, Jeremy did mention I'm not on here, but before, whenever we was talking, that he could have came through the back door and everything, and that is a possibility, but he had to be Usain Bolt. Like, it was like from scene to scene. And I see Cheese down there.
Gamer Logan. Cheese. Is that my Logan?
It might be.
I kind of feel like it is.
Cheese, Bubby. If it's you.
Now I'm thinking about Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. It just.
I feel.
There's no way he got past the police, Allison.
Mm.
I mean, he
No,
could
unless he's teleporting now. It could be Jason teleporting his shit now. I don't know.
That just
Do you think
jumbled as well?
Yeah, I feel like that was edited very oddly because
Poorly.
I feel
Whole movie was edited weird. So I agree with you there, dude.
that there's like 30 minutes or so of that story that was cut. Like not actual runtime, but like 30 minutes from Karen walking back to the house to get Allison, to call the police, to get police and paramedics down there. Like while Allison and Karen are like just kind of waiting for whatever, I feel like Michael had already gone through the mob and had made his way like mostly back to the house. I think that Michael was honestly in the house probably before police or paramedics got there. And Karen's like, I led him away or whatever. He's down the street, what have you. So maybe security wasn't that tight there. But I don't know. There's just something missing.
Person in history then.
Yeah.
Because she left. She bounced before Michael even taken out.
Yeah.
People. I don't know though.
Yeah, like I said, there's probably like 30 minutes or so there that kind of just was completely erased,
cut
from the movie. Yeah, but I don't know, the way that I kind of explained it to myself, like if you're gonna make this make sense and not have him just like be able to teleport, like she is walking back and she's not running or anything, she's walking back to Allison, or maybe she is kind of hurrying to make sure her baby's okay, but you have her kind of like checking on her, making sure everything's okay, seeing the bodies and all of that, and then kind of just taking that moment to breathe. Okay, I need to get the cops over here, whatever. I feel like Michael had already kind of got up and killed most of them by the time she even started to dial the police or whatever.
It's possible. That's possible, I guess. I don't
because like if you think about it, Brackett,
yeah,
like the way that it was edited, it's weird, but Michael's lying on the ground, Brackett comes over like, big bad, okay, this is for my daughter. He doesn't say it, but he gets over to do like the killing blow. Michael takes the knife out of his back, slits his throat, it just gets up and just runs everybody down with that blade. So I feel like he was probably already back at the house a lot quicker than people would kind of imagine, but I wish they would have, which they wanted that to be a surprise, so they couldn't have really shown like his stroll back to the Myers house. But I'd kind of like to see that with Halloween Ends, like go back to that, show a little bit of what freaking happened there, maybe give Tommy a bit of a better exit, maybe let him get a swing on Michael with a little Huckleberry or something before he buckles, show how Michael got back there like around the time that the sirens or whatever like coming in, so he can just like stroll upstairs or whatever while they're sitting out on the front porch with the sirens blaring. They don't hear him. He goes upstairs, he looks out the window and kind of sees everything transpire, and then you hear Karen Karen kind of walks up over to the window or whatever. He kind of is like gets back into the shade, hears like the footsteps come up, and you kind of see him kind of like get in that position where he can kind of like strike. You kind of get to see Michael like line up the kill for the first time. I'd like that, because as it is very just weirdly edited to where it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to make like your own crazy like headcanon of what happened, just like with X-Men films.
It kind of makes you feel too like, I mean, it could completely be a dream sequence, or it could be, I don't know. Original ending from test screenings, it wasn't supposed to be. It was actually supposed to be different. But I'll let Chris say what you were going to say, Chris. And
I was going to say, like, if it is a dream sequence, like, they shouldn't have to go back and do all that Jeremy said. Like, it would make more sense. But, like, if it's a dream sequence, I'm okay with it. But if you go back and spend so much time like trying to make your ending make sense, then you kind of failed. You know what I mean?
That's true.
In my
If
opinion,
you don't know it,
they should have had, like he mentioned, there has to be something cut because it can't go from that scene to that scene. It just makes no sense. You shouldn't have to, do all these theories and stuff. Not saying it's bad because I mean that you're making sense out of something that does not hardly make sense, which is good. You got some skill there, but hopefully, whatever they do, hopefully it makes sense.
It's a cliffhanger from hell. But I
Mhm.
mean, like, and there's definitely more there for sure. But like, I take it back when I say that every line that Jamie Lee Curtis had was bad. I think that the last few lines that she had there was like may not be this year or this or whatever. Like I like that. That was cool when she's talking about Michael and giving us some foreshadowing of what's going to happen, and also giving us foreshadowing of the time skip too, because it may not be this year, it may not be, but so I like that.
It's gonna be like 4 or 5 years later.
I know it's gonna be. So that's how it ends with Karen supposedly dying, from what we see, and this look where Michael's stared, and then cut back to Lori, and she's staring, and it's like, oh shit, it's about to be this big fucking battle between the two. Which originally the original ending for test screening audiences was Karen was dead. So if they continue with that idea, because they cut it, so maybe they're like, well, we don't want that to happen anymore. Karen was dead in the original of how this movie was supposed to play out. Because the scene following that, after he kills Karen, Lori actually calls Karen's phone. Michael picks up the phone in an homage, or kind of like just the same kind of moment as original 78 when she's calling Linda. Michael picks up the phone and she hears the breathing. And she says, I'm coming for you, Michael. That's how it originally ended. So if it's going to be like that, then Karen's dead. If they're going to continue with that. But this franchise as a whole, this trilogy, has taken so many twists and turns from the beginning that it's crazy. Now it's going to be, I'm not going to go into political things much, but now COVID's going to be probably involved with ends. Originally it was supposed to take place on one night. Now it's doing this. And now some people feel like Jamie Lee Curtis's influences have changed the film in ways like it's went a bunch of different places. I don't think it necessarily needed to go. But I mean, when it ended, I had fun with it, man. I had laughs when I needed. The dialogue was horribly bad most of the movie. I'll just say it was dog shit for a lot of the scenes. I'll just say it was horribly written. The plot of the movie was Michael trying to. I had fun with though. It makes it sound like I don't like it, but I like it more than 2018 until I rewatched 2018. We'll see there, but. It was fun, man. It was Halloween Kills. We were given what we got what we were given and what we expected, what most of us did anyway. And I think as a whole, is it structured as well as 2018? No. I think that movie, from a technical standpoint, is probably a better movie than Kills. But it's balls to the wall crazy in this movie, and you got to have fun with some of those kills. Some of the characters make it worthwhile. Lonnie, Lindsay. Allison, Karen. I mean, some of those characters really do. So, what can I say? Is it in my top 5? No, absolutely not. But it's better than some, dude. I would watch this every day of the week as opposed to watching Resurrection or Rob Zombie's remakes.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
So at the end of the day, that's as of yet, it's still kind of setting in with me. I need to watch it a couple more times. I'll say that I had a better first impression with this movie as opposed to 2018. Because I hated 2018 when I first watched it. Yeah, and as I've seen it more, I like it a little bit better. Maybe this movie will make me actually appreciate that movie more. I don't know until I rewatch it. But I know it. It grossed a hell of a lot of money at the box office opening weekend. Did it do 50 million? It did something like that. It surpassed what people thought it was going to do.
Yeah. All I know is it did pretty well.
Yeah. And Mike, so when Halloween Kills ended, and we'll try to wrap this up soon. But were you guys, was it satisfactory, the ending and the whole film? Like, how did you feel as soon as those credits started rolling? Chris, go with you first.
Yeah, I had fun with it. I've watched it either 2.5 times or 3.5 times now, because I watch with different people. But Yeah, I was happy with it. Was it perfect? No, but it did deliver on the kills. Michael, like we mentioned before, James Jude Courtney, really great Michael in my opinion. I just can't wait to see how many kills he ends up with. Halloween ends like in total because he is a brutal Michael. He's kind of like a to me, and it's really cool. It's like a mix of the original and maybe a little bit of like Rob Zombie or like Six. He's a brutal Michael, and I love that a lot. I like a lot of anything with Michael on screen is pretty good for the most part.
I agree.
Some of the characters were cool. Tommy was wasted though. I still like the Power of the Room stopped him better than Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
But I didn't go into it thinking it was going to be extravagant and all that stuff. So I liked it. I thought it was fun. I don't think it's the worst of the franchise like some people do. I don't think it's the best like some people do. It's a very polarizing movie. Watch it for yourself and get your own opinion, but I had fun with it. So I'm happy with it.
I agree. Jeremy?
I hated it.
Loathe entirely.
No, kind of do want to talk about real quick what you said with how this movie might change your outlook on 2018. It changed how I view 2018, and I might talk about that a little bit more if I ever do like a personal review of this movie and kind of script it and kind of get out what I'm trying to say without taking 50 minutes. But I don't know. It made certain things in 2018 better for me, and some things I just still didn't click with. But I think overall it didn't hurt 2018, and I don't think Halloween Kills is a bad sequel by all means to that movie. Like you said, it's kind of like cocaine fueled. There's really no stopping point from the time that the credits start and finish.
Yeah.
It's just nonstop action. I'd like to see a extended cut, like when it hits our physical media and everything, just to try to get a little bit more sense of certain scenes, hopefully. But all in all, I'm going to revisit it. I had fun with it. I look forward to getting it on Blu-ray or 4K. But I'm very cautious and scared with what they're going to do with Halloween Ends, because it's going to be really either very scary to think about or just very weird if they have Michael Myers just in like a regular like COVID protection mask going around killing people like casually throughout the year or something. And then like the politics, like every life matters, but I don't want there to be like, I don't want to see Black Lives Matter or something like that, something so horrible and that shouldn't have to be said in our real world. I don't want to see that reflected in a movie where you're trying to escape about how sad our world can be. I don't want to see those type of politics. I just want to see a beloved horror icon kill some people and maybe get stopped at the end of it or whatever they have planned. So with them trying to mirror how the new world, how our world is right now, it could really date this movie and make it just really, really like the weakest entry in the trilogy. So hopefully that's not the case, but I really liked it the two times that I watched it, but I think I am a little killed out. But I think I need to go ahead and hop off of here. I got to try to help my dad feed the dogs and everything, but I had fun talking with you guys about this.
Yeah, man. Me too. It was good to have you part of it. Be sure to go check out anybody who is watching or will watch afterwards. JB's Movie Den. He's got a new video that he just did. It's about Justice League, right?
Yeah. The Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy, 4K. There's like a unboxing and first thoughts of the big box set. It was really fun. Yeah,
man, it was a good video. I had fun watching it. It was good to see you back on YouTube and active on here.
It
And I
is,
know
man.
you got more content to come. So hopefully
Yeah.
everybody, like I said, go check him out. JB's Movie Den. He's also got he's got an OnlyFans you can check out. I'll put that.
Mhm.
I have to do that after this. I'll put it in the chat. Full on nudes. But yeah, man, good to have
Get
you here.
diamonds
Good
here.
to talk to you about Halloween Kills. And Hope says, Jordan, you're so beautiful. That's all. That makes me smile. Thank you so much. I know I'm beautiful, but I love that you know that as well. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you. You're beautiful too, even though I'm not sure who you are, but you are beautiful. You're very beautiful yourself. Anyway, yeah, man. Hopefully, the rest of your night's good, and we're gonna wrap up soon anyway. So,
All right. Cheese.
all right. So to end this, yeah, man. Like I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but it's I'll revisit it for sure. I know I will.
Me too.
Yeah. So Halloween Kills. I'm sure there's a lot that we missed to talk about with this one. I'm not going to give predictions for Halloween Ends because I might do that in a separate video down the line sometime.
Mhm.
I do have predictions for it, and I will see it. It's weird how they've changed everything so much. But either
Mhm.
way, Halloween Kills. If you haven't seen Halloween Kills, definitely. I mean, give it a watch. It's on Peacock. Peacock's like $10 a month for the premium service, so it's not that much. You can watch it any amount of times that you want to. I don't know how long it's going to be available on there, or if it's going. I don't really know, but I would say watch it. It's got a little bit in it for each type of fan. We love Halloween as a franchise.
Mhm.
So we're not going to love absolutely everything about this. It's got the blood, guts, and gore for newer horror fans who really just care about the scene. They don't care about the plot as much. It's got some throwbacks. It's got Easter eggs, which I feel some of them weren't really warranted. It's got Easter eggs from Halloween 3. They keep taking bits and pieces from movies they say don't exist, and they put them in these
the
movies, which is weird. But nevertheless, it was cool to see a Shamrock mask in there. That was cool. So it's got something for each person. Do I love it? No. But it's a fun watch, man. If you're looking to watch a movie with your buddies, you want to order a pizza, get some drinks, put this on, you're going to be entertained, thoroughly entertained. So I'll say that. And
it's a fun movie. It really is.
Yep. That's kind of my final thoughts about Kills. I've got a couple more times I need to rewatch it because I only seen it that 1.5 times. So yeah, my opinion could change. It might not. Yep. Halloween Kills. Any final things that you want to say about Halloween Kills before we kind of end the stream?
I think it'd be a good time to go watch it in theaters if you can. If not, check it out on Peacock. If you're a horror fan, I'm sure you'll like it. Like you mentioned, there's something there for everybody. Each type of horror fan, so definitely worth checking out to at least form your own opinion on it.
No, I agree. Yeah, I guess that'll be it. Let's talk about Halloween Kills is officially over. I'm sure this movie will be talked about again on my channel at some point. Well, I know for a fact that it will be leading to the next thing on October 31st. Halloween itself, I'm going to be doing a Halloween franchise ranking. I'm going to be ranking all of the films from the original to Halloween Kills. That's going to be fun. I think Chris is going to be joining me for that one. Hopefully, I don't know if Jeremy will, but he might be as well. So be on the lookout for that. That'll probably be about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that night, maybe a little earlier. The details are not completely concrete yet, but that's going to be fun, man. I don't know where I'm going to rank all these movies. I've been thinking about it for a couple days. We've been watching those movies. We watched H2O last night, and I'll save it for that video. But yeah, it's going to be a fun time. I want to thank everybody who stopped by. We've had Hope Golf in here. Thank you for coming by and being here and commenting. I love your comments, and I love you. And Gamer_Logan, who is my Logan, and he stopped by and said cheese and yee. So thank you for that, buddy. I love your comments. We've also had Ashton Banks, who said we need a Friday the 13th movie, which I think he left before I could respond to that. We do. But yeah, so more videos throughout October, even though it's dwindling down, dude. It don't feel like it should be Halloween already, but it's already here. So I'm going to try to do some more videos, try to have a couple reviews up before the Halloween ranking. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Chris, thank you for being here with me in this one, man.
Thank you for having me.
You can go find Chris on Chris Brock's YouTube channel. He's been doing killer fucking content this month, unboxings, reviews, everything that he's been doing. He's been doing a lot of great stuff. So go check him out. Give him a view, give him a like, give him Wet Willie if you want to. But yeah, man. I guess that is it, guys. Watch this shit, man. Honestly, though, if you watch the Curtis Overkills. I'll say that much. But
I'm trying to get it.
That's the superior Tommy Doyle, dude. He really is. The power of the rune stopped him, bro. Just give me a doctor. Oh man, you had to do the snap. You had to do the pop. Oh, the pop there. Can you tell us real quick before we end what's coming up next on your channel?
Halloween review. Halloween 1978 review should be tomorrow.
That's my favorite horror film. I'm definitely gonna be tuning in for that, and hopefully everyone else will too. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Watch Halloween Kills. Watch it. It's fun, but it's not great, but it's
flawed,
fun.
but fun.
Yep, definitely watch it. And yeah, guys, comment and subscribe. And as always, keep it horror. Peace.